I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mrs. Delia Saenz, Dr. Norma Lopez Harris. Ms. Aldrete is running late, but she will be here. Dr. Zavaleta is absent. Mr. Edgar Garcia, welcome to your first regular meeting.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Mr. Edward Camarillo, myself, also present is our leader, our fearless leader, our president, Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And now, I guess we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Saenz, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Public comment? My report. Earlier this month, I was invited to the RGV Women's Chamber of Commerce Night of Valor in Edinburgh. Chief Patrol Agent Gloria Chavez, which is also a TSC alumna, invited me. It was a beautiful event, very well put together, small, but it was very, very meaningful. And I thank Dr. Chavez for thinking of TSC always, and of course, she bragged on us at the event. Also, we had the Hispanic Heritage Month with our community, and we went to the consulate. You were there, right? And I guess you were there, Mr. Camarillo was there, Dr. Lopez Harris was there. That's right, you were there too. So, todos, and you were there too. And it turned out very, very nice. So I was glad to have it. Also, I don't know if we talked about the Sting Day last meeting, did we talk about Sting Day? No, we didn't. We had Sting Day, which was very hot and very humid. But hopefully we can do something different next time, that it was not at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it is cooler, and it's probably better if it's inside, like the last time, because it was cruel to have us out there. I think you were testing us, Mr. Ponce. I think you were testing to see if we could stand the heat, and we did. We passed. So anyway, with that being said, I think that's all we had for the last month. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, trustees. I would like to begin my report with our participation in the Bridge Education and Business Roundtable. I served on a panel with representatives from South Texas College and Texas State Technical College, which was moderated by the Executive Director of the Texas Association of Businesses, Glenn Hammer, and CEO and RGV Partnership, Daniel Silva. Business leaders were invited to a private breakfast in Westville to hear from us and on House Bill 8 and to share their challenges in maintaining a competitive workforce. Also, Dr. Emma Miller, our Dean of Business, Engineering, Architecture, and Technology, or better known as our BEAT, has also been active in presenting to our community. Last weekend, she presented to the Brownsville Police Department Women's Inclusion Conference. Her session was also streamed in Spanish to female police officers in Mexico, focused on leadership. She also provided information on the programs TSC offers, including customized workforce training. Next, I'm pleased to announce that our respiratory care program has been granted reaccreditation from the Commission on Accreditation for Respiratory Care. Our program met or exceeded all the thresholds for success on each of the required outcomes measures for the previous years. So congratulations to Isidro Ramirez, our Respiratory Care Program Director, faculty member Alberto Vasquez, as well as our adjunct faculty, for your exceptional work in preparing our next generations of health professionals. And backed by popular demand, our Workforce Training Continuing Education Department offered our substitute teacher course this month. This course was developed as a result of conversations with our secondary school partners who have had a great need for effective substitute teachers. Participants in the course took part in a 2-day interactive curriculum focused on classroom management. So thank you to WTCE team under Mr. Mezquia's leadership for continuing to ensure we help meet the workforce needs in the communities we serve. Now, we also held the National Day of Service Remembrance event on Wednesday, September 11th. It was a wonderful community gathering with Rivera Color Guard presenting the colors and Brownsville Fire Chief Jarrett Sheldon serving as a keynote speaker. Thank you to Student Services Department for hosting the event, to Mr. Villarreal for presenting the welcoming remarks, and Vice Chair Sines and Trustee Camarillo for your participation in this event. Now, we also hosted home matches for the men's and women's soccer team on September the 13th and the 14th. Our Scorpions give their all, and they are going up against some really experienced teams, and they really come down to play. You know, I enjoy the matches. It's a great time, and our students really give their all. So I think right now we're about 3-2, 3-1, and they're moving. So thank you to the coach and all the staff for the training that's provided to our students. And we never forget that they're student athletes, and students is the first focus of these students. And I want to thank Chair Garza and Trustee Camarillo for coming out to support our student athletes. This Tuesday, the 24th, we're back at home playing against the Jacksonville College, and we'll have a tailgate party that kicks off at 3 p.m. Then the women's team plays at 5 p.m., and then the men's team plays at 7 p.m. I hope you'll join us there. We also held the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new game room in Oliveira Student Services building. There was a great turnout as we celebrated the completion of this new space on the second floor. The game room is a result of the collaboration between our Board of Trustees, students, and many staff members who usher the project to completion. This space invites students to gather and get to know each other, and it can be reserved for holding tournaments, club meetings, or other events. So thank you to Chair Garza and Trustee Camarillo for participating in the event. In addition to the game room, yes, in addition.
She was here too.
Oh, and Ms. Sines, thank you for being there. Thank you so much. Sorry for that, but yep. And in addition to the game room, the Student Services Department has been hard at work hosting a number of events designed to engage our students. This includes the additional Welcome Week events such as Dunk for Donuts and Popcorn and Pictures, Student Leadership Recruitment Luncheon, Flag Football, and Piñata en el Paseo. And now it is time for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met. Can you please start the video?
This is where good things happen. And it's not just because of the trustees, it's also because of the leadership. And because each one of you give TSC its all.
Do you not see what I see? How strong they are. the beauty, the strength, the opportunities, that community spirit, that collaborative spirit. That's why I'm going.
I hope that they say, they believe this. When you're in that classroom, they believe this. When you're out there doing whatever it is, they believe in what they're talking about.
As you can see by the video, we continue to build a culture that provides a sense of belonging and welcoming spirit to all students, faculty, staff, and our community. We always say, this is your community college, and we're here to serve our community. And in closing, I would like to thank all our board trustees for their participation, for showing up. So on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students, we greatly appreciate your commitment and support to the college and to the communities that we serve. And I want to thank the entire campus community for a successful launch of this new academic year. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 6, consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings. I'm going to take them individually. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meetings of the minutes of the meeting on June the 20th, 2024, as presented.
So moved. Oh, sorry. I'll second.
A motion by Ms. Sines, second by Mr. Camarillo. I'll take a vote.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I did review those minutes for that meeting, and I'm okay with it, and I wanted to ask legal if it's okay for me to vote.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll take a vote then. Any more discussion? Okay, then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to vote, and you abstain.
Correct. I was abstaining on this one.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of August 12, 2024, as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Sines, second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Lopez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You were here.
This one I voted. Yes, yes, I voted.
Thank you. I did take a vote.
Yes.
Okay. And I will now entertain a motion for the minutes of the regular meeting of August 29, 2024.
Move to approve?
A motion by Mr. Camarillo.
Second.
Second by Dr. Lopez. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? You abstain. There's a pattern here, Mr. Garcia. So, because you were absent.
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4, okay. Motion carries on all of them. Number 7, consideration and possible action on the resolution nominating a candidate for the Board of Directors for Cameron County Appraisal District. And, you know, we always have a candidate, and of course, we never win. And the reason why we never win is because we're going against the school districts. The school districts have their own board members, and they meet, and they go to conferences, and they ask for the vote. We are considered a small school district, which is, we're not small by any means, but it depends on the taxes that we collect, and since we don't charge enough taxes, which is a good thing, so, but we can win this election, and we don't have representation. I did talk to Ms. Aldrete, and I said, because she knows some board members, maybe she could infiltrate, and maybe she could win. We need to have representation at the appraisal district, and I don't know, Mr. Peña has been working on maybe taking it to legislature. We need to have representation. They just tell us whatever we're supposed to do, I would like to have representation at some point. I've been on this board for 16 years, and we've never had representation, so they come and tell us what they're gonna do, and they don't even ask for our input, right? So I would like to nominate Ms. Aldrete for this position and see if she has any luck, and if she works it. So I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Camarillo. So I need to read the resolution, Mr. Perez?
Not necessarily, it's in the minutes, but I'll read it for you if you'd like.
Okay, por favor.
Would you like me to do that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. A resolution of the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College District expressing its nomination for Appraisal District Director for the Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors. Whereas the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College District are authorized to make nominations for each position to be filled in the Cameron County Appraisal District Board of Directors, and whereas these directors shall serve a term beginning January 1, 2025, and that all taxing entities associated with the Cameron Appraisal District are authorized to nominate up to 5 individuals for said board, and whereas the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College District must submit the names of the nominees by written resolution to the Chief Appraiser by October 15th, 2024. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees for the Texas Southmost College District that the name Alejandra Aldrete is hereby nominated by the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College District to the Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors. Furthermore, the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College District directs the Chief Appraiser to submit said nomination for consideration by all taxing entities within the Cameron Appraisal District in the upcoming district appointments. Passed and approved this 19th day of September 2026, signed by the Board Chair for Texas Southmost College, attested by the Secretary.
2024.
2024, I'm sorry. Too many documents read today.
What did he say? I didn't even hear. I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Finance Committee, Ms. Science.
The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Secretary Lopez Harris, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 8A, consideration and possible action on approval for human resources applicant tracking software annual contract for FY 2024, 2025, and subsequent 2 years. I call on Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Ruben Vega to present.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you have one of our renewals, which is People Admin. It's the software that we use in HR. It includes different modules, including employee data, position management, performance management, so even employee evaluations are part of this software. The current encumbrances for this year were $63,483. Most softwares have a 6 to 8% escalator year to year. We've negotiated a three-year contract. with a 3% escalator and a projected purchases of next year of $66,839. Any questions?
No. Thank you for working on this and bringing the price down. Thank you so much, Dr. Figueroa.
So most welcome.
I move to approve the annual contract for human resources applicant tracking software from People Admin, Inc., Power School Group, LLC, through exempted purchase method for fiscal year 2024, 2025, and the subsequent 2 years.
I second.
By Ms. Sines, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay. 8B, monthly financial statement report for the month ended July 31st, 2024. Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Carlos Becerro will present.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, with your permission, I'll have Mr. Pacero present the financial statements for the month of July.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you the monthly financial statements for the period July 1st through July 31st. There will be 3 fund types that we'll present, and they'll have revenue and expenditures for each. I'll begin with the Education and General Fund, and I'll mainly concentrate my presentation on this July column here. So on this slide, we have total revenue of almost a little over 1 million in July. That is all revenues for the Education and General Fund. We're moving on to the expenditures categories. There are 2 subtotals on this slide, $2,095,000 and $551,000. That's for salaries and wages and benefits respectively. Moving on to the next slide, we have the M&O category, and that concludes here on this slide, and that subtotal is 2.2 million. The following slide has travel and general institutional, and those subtotals are 3,000 and 93,000 respectively. And the last slide for Education and General Fund, we have total expenditures of 5 million in July. So that's revenue and expenditures for Education and General. We have the second of the 3, which is the Auxiliary Fund, with total revenue of 75, almost 76,000 in Auxiliary Fund. And the expenditures categories begin here. 2 subtotals for salaries and wages of 40, almost 44,000, and 12,000 for benefits. The M&O category begins on this slide and concludes here. And this is the subtotal for that category, almost 46,000. So the last slide for Auxiliary Fund, we have total expenditures of 101,000. So that's revenue and expenditures for the Auxiliary Fund. And the last of the 3 fund types, we have our general obligation and revenue bond funds. We have revenue of 88,000, and on the following slide, we have expenditures of 1,600. So that's revenue and expenditures for all 3 fund types. We have some detail for you on the health benefits. They total to 2.2 million and almost 58,000 for general fund and auxiliary respectively. The following slide has our debt service tables. So that's our 5-year projected payments for each of the bond issuances that we have. On this slide, we have our fund balance recap. This amount here at the top ties to our audited financial statements from fiscal year 23. And at the bottom, we have our estimated fund balance number at this time. We do have the audit going on, so this number will change very soon once that audit is completed. And we'll have an updated number for you. To recap the number of days in fund balance, we have another number that comes from our audited financial statements. 63 million is the total operating expenditures. We divide that by the number of days in a year, which gives us an average of how much we spent per day, about 175,000. The next number is our unrestricted net position, and we divide that by the number we calculated up here, the 175. and that gives us approximately 195 days in fund balance. It's typical to have 30 to 60 days. We currently run about 195, so good, strong fund balance.
Now we're just bragging, right?
It's a product of the leadership that's shown by the board and the efforts by management that we're able to produce this type of result. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Becerra.
With that, I'll conclude my presentation. If there's any questions, I'd like to try and answer them.
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
This
Becerra, you've come a long, long, long way in the last, how many years? 5 years?
Well, I've been here 7.
7
Yeah,
years.
7 years, yeah. Yeah.
I hope
you
that
very
you're
much,
feeling
Madam
very
Chair.
comfortable, too.
I'll be celebrating my 10th anniversary in January.
But those first 3 years were rough. They were rough.
Yes. No, I very much appreciate our time.
But you made it, Mr.
together.
Becerra, you made it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I appreciate those
Thank
kind
you for all
words.
you do, Mr. Becerra.
Thank you. This item is for information only, no action is required. 8C, grants update. I call on Dr. Figueroa and Vice President of Finance to present the item.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have the list of grants that have been awarded to the college during the month of August. We have a grant from Educate Texas. It was for the registration roundup for $10,000. Texas Education Agency awarded us a Stronger OST grant for $283,000. We also have a grant from the Corporation for National and Community Service, which is the AmeriCorps. It had prior come to the board. The award was $459,000, and we do have a cost share of $144,945 for that grant. And then a grant from the State Energy Conservation Office for one of our programs for HVAC, that it's $94,514.81. That's for equipment for the program. In your report, you also have a year-to-date list of all the different grants that have been awarded during this past fiscal year.
This item is for information only, no action is required. Thank you, Ms. Dr.
Most
Fig.
welcome.
Any questions from the board? No? Okay. So you're done?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Facilities Committee. Whose facilities? Mr. Marillo?
Facilities Committee met via Zoom on Monday, September the 9th, 2024. Present were Madam Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 9A, Facilities Update. I'd like to call Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. With your permission, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ronnie Robles and Mr. Gerardo Mascoro. And just to let you know that today is Mr. Robles' 1-month anniversary.
Well, he's definitely not new anymore.
All right. Madam Chair, members of the board and President Rodriguez, just want to bring you up to date on where we're at with the chillers at the rec center as well as the childcare center, Unit 2. We got where everything is moving along fine. We got all the piping in, fabrication. They're ready to set as soon as the chillers get here. We got word earlier in the week that the chillers still are not ready for shipping. They are still under construction according to Ziwa and the contractor. They're lacking one part. As soon as they get that the motors in, they'll be shipping right away. We have a meeting set up, hopefully either tomorrow or Monday, to ask them questions about what's the delay. As of now, they've not been able to grant us or give us the information. When the Facilities Committee met, we were under the impression that chillers would be here on the 19th, ready to install, but they notified us. So we're pressing that issue with them. As soon as they get here, you're going to see a whole bunch of people working on them to meet our deadline at the end of December. So as of now, as long as they get here within the next 14 days, Mr. Mosquito, 14 to 21 days or so, we should still be on schedule with no issues. So we're going to press them again, either tomorrow or Monday, depending upon when they get back with us. Let them know that this is extremely important and we have to get this done without fail. Okay. We can go through and look at some of these pictures here. On the left, you'll see an aerial of the REAC Center, where they're at. The one on the right is higher visible. It's a little washed out, but you can see on the right side of it, the trench has been dug and the black lines are the pipes that they've been fabricating for the install. This is the Child Care Center. You'll see that it's prepped and ready to go. Lines have been cut. We're just waiting on the actual equipment to arrive, get on the ground so that they can proceed with making all the connections. This is just some other video or pictures of the actual REAC Center. The fabrication of the pipe continues. That's the trench that's been dug, and the pipes on the right are what has been fabricated and will be connected up to the piping on the left. The pipes on the left are the hot and cold lines for the existing chiller system, so we can connect to them. Once we're done there, we'll be able to cover that up, and we'll have our chiller system connected and ready to go. On the right is just additional fabrication. These are just pictures of on the outside again of the rec center. This is the child care area. So we're just showing that, hey, we're ready to go.
I was out there yesterday. It was hot and humid. And my God, that's a massive, massive job you all are doing. We see those las zanjas, but they're not zanjitas, they're zanjotas. It's massive. What you guys are doing all at once and you have everywhere. There's the casitas, and then there's the chillers over here, and then it's over there at the rec center. Yeah. You have too many parts moving right now. It's amazing, and you can control what you're doing.
Well, it's thanks to Mr. Mascoro and Dr. Garcia and President and the board for allowing that forward progress to occur, and it's really going to make a difference for all of the facilities.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mascaro, you've done an outstanding job. It's admirable because you have too many things going at once. Thank you.
That concludes my presentation. And any questions?
No. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So this item is information only. No action is required. This concludes my report.
Thank you, sir.
Academic.
Academics, Dr. Zabaleta is not here. He's the chair of that department, and Ms. Aldrete is on her way, but she's not here yet. So I think I'll take the academic. What you do with my academic facilities? It's somewhere, okay. So I will do the report. The academic committee met on Monday, September the 9th, 2024. Present were myself, Ms. Aldrete, President Rodriguez, members of the administration. And we discussed the following: consideration and possible action on approval of the memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College for the Criminal Justice Academy Basic Peace Officer Certification Program and the City of Brownsville, Texas Police Department. And I'll call on Mr. Mesquias.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This memorandum between the Brownsville Police Department and Texas Southmost College, it seeks to strengthen our partnership and collaboration with the training that we're doing on basic police officer certification. The MOU outlines the roles and responsibility between both of us. Most notably, TSC CGI Academy will reserve 6 slots for pre-hired police officers in exchange for Brownsville Police Department instructor hours for state-required certification courses. In addition, the Brownsville Police Department will give the CGI training program access to the firing range and also the use of training vehicles. This MOU has been reviewed by legal and has been approved by them. Thank you.
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College for Criminal Justice Academy Basic Peace Officer Certification Program and the City of Brownsville, Texas Police Department, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? No? We are using the Police Academy's cars now.
Yes, ma'am, we have one.
But
We have
we
one
have
vehicle,
one.
and we're in the process of trying to lease another one. We put in a jet grant to get additional funds for that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I just remember we had one.
Yes, ma'am,
Se
we
nos
do.
gastan las llantas.
Yeah.
We are replacing the tires that are worn out.
Yes, ma'am.
Here at TSC.
That's, yes, we try to keep the vehicles and safety standards with the brakes and the tires. Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yeah, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. 10B, consideration and possible action on approval of memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College Workforce Training and Continuing Education Programs and Jubilee of Brownsville. Mr. Mesquias?
Yes, ma'am. So this agreement was really something that they wanted us to do, an MOU with them for training for the Certified Nursing Assistant Program. And so Jubilee has asked us for an MOU to provide training for their institution. So it's just an understanding of the eligibility between what Jubilee will provide to us, because there's several items that we need to make sure that they provide to us, background checks, the drug testing. So they've asked for that, and that's strictly what it is, just a simple MOU saying, yes, this is what we're going to provide for you, up to 38 students, or we're going to, if they would provide all 38, we would actually charge them $57,000.
Okay, I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College Board of Trustees, Texas Southmost College and Workforce Training and Jubilee Brownsville and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the MOU.
I second that.
A motion, a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Student
Thank you.
Services. Thank you, sir.
The Student Services Committee met via Zoom on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: consideration and possible action to approve the addition of a men's and women's NJCAA intercollegiate cross-country team that will begin competition in fall of 2025. At this time, I will call on Dr. David Plummer to present the item.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you for allowing us to come, myself and Dr. Ponce, to come give you an update on the current status and then our plans for the future. So with your permission, I'd turn it over to Dr. Ponce.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Lopez Harris, members of the board. I want to start off providing an update on our current soccer program. Of course, our season's underway. I want to thank the Board of Trustees for their support. As Madam Chair mentioned, it is very hot outside and it's scorching hot, and we're glad to get the season underway. I'm glad to report that for this year's roster, we have 30 women on our roster. And we have currently 36 active men. We have actually 4 that got injured during the preseason, and they're going to be waiting for next year. I also want to report that we had 10 transfer students, which is a good thing for us because we do have some students that initially say no to us, and they go somewhere else, and then they made the smart decision to come back to TSC, and they've transferred back home, as we like to say. So again, very proud of the team. As Dr. Rodriguez mentioned, they've both played some nationally ranked contenders, and I'm glad to report that Saturday we did bring the victory home against Northeast Texas Community College, and we look forward to Tuesday's game against Jacksonville College. The girls starting at 5 and the boys starting at 7. And like Dr. Rodriguez mentioned, we do have a tailgate that we hope to bring out the fans and the community to celebrate TSC and all the good work that the team is doing. And here again, it's just a schedule of the game. Next week, we play against Jacksonville, and Friday we play against Berlin. And I also wanted to bring to the board the latest update. Yes, ma'am?
Go back one screen. Again, I always bring this up. When is the hottest time of the day? 3, 5 o'clock.
Yes.
That's when the girls play. The boys play at 7, because it's nice and cool. Who makes that decision? Why do we put our girls through that all the time?
Well,
Is it a league thing, or is it us?
It is a league thing. We kind of work with the coaches depending on the time, travel, and like you see, like on this coming Tuesday, the ladies play first, and then the men play, and then we have the actual ladies playing in the morning the next time we play, and then the men play later in the afternoon. So it is kind of depending also where we're traveling, time we get there, also when they played before. Like when we play back to back, if the girls play first, then we'll switch them to play the next day second, just have a little longer rest period. So it's something we try to negotiate with the other coaches, but that is pretty standard how they play back to back, and they try to switch them times 1 and 1.
No es cierto. They never catch a break, ever, the girls.
Well, they're doing tremendous. The ladies, we're really proud of them. So we're looking forward to these coming week's games.
Maybe the reason why is because aguantamos más las mujeres. The boys will be falling apart.
And what I bring before you today for your approval is the addition of another athletic program, and that would be men's and women's cross country. Now, the team is relatively smaller. It would consist of 6 men and 6 women, and we would be competing regionally here in Texas. Currently, Region 14, which we're part of, does not have a full conference schedule similar to like soccer. What they do have, there's meets throughout Texas that we can kind of pick and choose from to attend that would allow us to compete at the national meet. So most teams do 3 to 4 meets in the fall. It is a fall sport. And if we were to move forward, we would start the head coach search in the late fall, hopefully trying to hire somebody by the early spring. We would start a recruitment as soon as the coach would come on board. And then they would officially start, similar to soccer. In August, they ramp up their training once they're students, and then we would compete starting fall of 2025. And just to give you a visual of the projected budget, as I mentioned before, in conversation with Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Plummer, as far as planning out the next sport, this is an easier transition, especially because of cost. All we need is a big, space to run, open field in Brownsville. I've been communicating with BISD and some of the routes that they use for their cross-country teams that we could also share. And the initial cost, if approved by the board, would essentially be our year 0 this year, where we would purchase uniforms, start the recruitment process, and again, part of the budget will go to the August expenses that happens before the next fiscal year. And then 2025, you would see there would be some additional costs for operating the program. I do want to say that once we're full force with the team, if approved by next fall, because of the low cost, we would essentially, the team itself would cover its own cost. Just in tuition fees and loan after the first year. Open to any questions?
Dr. Ponce, so then the yearly cost after year 2 would be, that's the budget?
Yes, yes, it'd be roughly similar, yes. Just might be some,
Near
like, the following year, we may need to, like, usually we try to get uniforms to last about 2 years. So in 27, we probably get new uniforms, but they're not as expensive as the soccer uniforms.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move to approve the proposed addition of an intercollegiate men's and women's cross-country team to start competition in fall 2025.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Harris, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? That's when discussion comes. Any discussion?
No.
No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Any
We
questions?
were gonna, exactly. We were gonna ask on the baseball, right? Have you done any research on the baseball team?
Oh, yes, yes. I've done extensive research in preparation that we were going to do. We offer it. So baseball would be similar to cross country in the aspect that we would just submit a letter to the NJCAA that you've approved to add a sport. We would have to wait till the fall of 2026, which would start us competing in 2027 because of scheduling. But I've started the exploratory research with the direction from Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Plummer on cost to renovate the field, operational cost, travel, and the big expense would be travel, just similar to soccer, but also just getting the field up to par. We're getting those numbers. The good thing is that we have the infrastructure there. It just needs to be upgraded. That's the big thing that the NJCAA looks at. Is you have a field of your own instead of leasing one or saying we're going to build one out. So we're looking at those estimates and doing our due diligence to once the board is ready for us to move forward, that we're ready to take action.
Let me ask you a question, because Ms. Adrete, this is a sport that BISD has, right? So we would have, it would be our feeders too. And it's in every high school?
Yes, we have it in every high school.
So we would have a feeder for the program.
Oh, yes, ma'am. In fact, a lot of the high school coaches have reached out to me asking, once we started soccer, are we going to bring, baseball back? And that we would have their full support. There's a head high school coaches association valley-wide that they've reached out to me several times, just also endorsing what we're doing and also giving us their support if we were to move forward. So there's a lot of talent in the Valley for baseball as well.
I've run 3 times, and every time I run, that comes up, right? I've been on the board for 16 years. For 16 years, people have asked me for a baseball team, right? And we weren't ready. But I think we're getting there. And I know when the new ones come in, that they get asked too, because, well, it didn't work with Adela, maybe work with Mr. Camarillo. But it's not that I don't want it, it's that.
We're praying for that, right?
Yes, so if we're considering and bringing baseball back, maybe we need to consider investing some money in our field,
Oh, yes, yeah.
to make sure it's a par to whatever standards it needs to be at,
We can't do that. We can't do the team without
the field.
the field.
I think the other side also is the interest in the community, and hopefully within that year 26, again, depending on how the board goes and we vote for it, the interest for people to say, I want to buy season tickets, and see what that looks like and see what that'll generate, so we can hopefully project what that budget would look like, and it wouldn't be so out of this world. But I think there would be tremendous interest, not just locally, but throughout the valley.
We hope so. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You done? Is that your last? No? You're done? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that concludes Dr. Lopez's report. And now we're going to go into executive session. The board will now convene in executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. We're back from executive session. Ms. Science?
I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the revisions to the FY 24-25 salary schedule as discussed in executive session.
I so move. I know you.
You second.
I second.
I have a motion by Ms. Science, second by Ms. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. And we are, next meeting dates, Thursday, October the 17th. Mark your calendars, please. And Thursday, November the 21st. If anybody has a problem with that, we can always revisit, but these are the scheduled times.
November 21st?
And October 17th. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Camarillo, second by Ms. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Let's go home.
Good night, everybody.